everybody, this is Chloe. Welcome back to DissociaDID, and today we have Jessica with us.
Hi.
Do you want to tell us a little bit about your channel, Jess?
Sure. So I have a channel, it's just my name, Jessica KELLGREN-FOZARD. I talk all about disabilities, deafness, LGBTQ things, and vintage fashion as well. I think the aim of my channel is just to kind of take life lessons, positives from the negatives that I've been through, and to share them with other people and hope that they can help other people get through things too.
I think you do a great job.
Oh, thank you.
That's okay.
That's so kind of you. Oh, and just sort of spread a bit of kindness in the world.
It's nice. She has a lovely channel, and I would definitely recommend checking it out. And you are partially deaf, aren't you? Or deaf?
Yeah, I'm just deaf.
All the videos on Jessica's channel are CC'd, so if you are hard of hearing, all her videos are very easily consumable and inclusive for everybody. So definitely recommend checking Jess out. We've done a video with her on your channel, which you can find in the description box below and probably in a little card up there somewhere, about ME and CFS, which a lot of you have asked me to do a video on, so you can find that on Jessica's channel. Today here on our channel we're going to be talking about what life is like with an invisible illness and how having an invisible illness affects the way people view you in society. You have some invisible illnesses, don't you?
I do. I have two genetic conditions: hereditary neuropathy with liability to pressure palsies and mixed connective tissue disorder with associated postural orthostatic tachycardia syndrome.
That's a mouthful.
Yeah, so what that means, to break that down, is HNPP is, if you think of all of the nerves in your body as electrical wire, all of the nerves in your body have a coating around them, much like electrical wire has plastic around the outside. So mine has holes in it.
Oh no, okay.
Yeah, I know. If I put too much pressure on the nerve, it can either swell through the hole, or because it's unprotected by that hole, it can basically fray and be damaged forever. And that paralyzes parts of my body. So I've paralyzed both of my arms before for a year and a half. My leg, same leg as well.
Which
on
leg?
A number of occasions. My left
Out of interest.
6 months, and then for 9 months, my foot quite often. I'm much weaker on my left side than my right side.
Are you right-handed?
No, I do. I am right-handed, yeah. My hearing is worse in my left ear as well.
Oh my gosh.
I'm blind in my left eye.
Have you ever had a brain scan? I'm sure you've had a brain scan.
I've had many brain scans.
Have they ever noticed any difference in the right side of your brain and the left, like compared to...
I have this fun thing with brain scans where they give me brain scans because something is happening, and then they tell me that like, it's not a stroke. That's all I get told.
That's it.
It's
always, not a stroke.
It's not a stroke.
Well, that's good
because
news.
I'm at risk of stroke. And they're like, it's not a stroke this time. Great.
But what is it?
They never tell you, just, it's not that thing. Like,
I hate that. I never follow up. I guess you're supposed to follow up after being told nothing's wrong. Like every time I go to a doctor and I'm like, something is really wrong, I'm in a lot of pain. And then they take some blood tests and do some tests and like, it all came back fine. So, on your way. And I'm just like, okay.
But I'm not fine.
Yeah, but I just carry on. I'm just like, yes, I'm in intense pain and I can't stand. But nothing's wrong. They said nothing's wrong, so it's fine.
I got diagnosed when I was 17, and then I got diagnosed with mixed connective tissue disorder, which is also genetic, and I've also had my entire life. But they didn't diagnose me with that till I was in my 20s. I don't know how you missed that, guys.
No.
What happened there? What happened? That's to do with all of my connective tissue and ligaments. It also affects all my organs. It's all of the soft tissue in my body, including things like my heart.
That's quite important.
Yeah.
That is quite important.
Yeah, it is. It is quite important. That's basically all of me. All of me is affected because all of me has nerves or soft tissue. The thing that's great about me is my bones.
You have solid bones?
My bones are so great. I fractured my collarbone once because it hit concrete, but other than that, never broken a bone.
That's good.
Also my teeth.
You have great teeth.
Thank you.
You have very, very white, strong teeth.
Yeah, my teeth, my nails, my bones, they are A+. The rest of me,
not so much.
But that stuff's really good, and I like to focus on the positives.
Yes.
So.
You have many positives.
There we go.
Even if your heart is at risk, you have a beautiful heart.
That was so corny, but I loved it.
Cute.
Oh my god, thanks.
So much.
I like it. The great thing that's not great about my disabilities is that they are all invisible.
Yes, I can't look at you and think she looks disabled.
Yeah,
because
which is actually not great.
No.
You'd think it would be a bonus. Many people do. They're like, oh well, at least it's not visible. And
I always worry when
what is ever the bonus there?
Yes,
Nothing.
explain further. Like when I'm sitting, for example, if I have a really bad chronic fatigue or my PTSD is flaring up or I'm very, very dissociated and I'm finding it hard to walk around or think straight or focus on anything that's going on, which can be quite dangerous. If I need to sit at the front of the bus, for example, so that I can get off and on easily, can see better where I'm going, I always worry that people are going to look at me and think, oh yes, privileged, young, no obvious disabilities. Why are you sitting at the front of the bus? Get out of that seat. It's not for you. You know, in other instances like that.
I mean, I've had the ladies glaring at me on the bus, and also they're always those ladies who like leap on the bus.
Yes,
it's never the people who need the seats.
No,
I find like the 80-year-olds who get on the bus and kind of shuffle along, see me sat there in the disabled seats, and they're like, they just sit next to me,
Carry
like,
on.
all right, dear.
Yes, how's
they're very
your day?
nice. But then it's the 50-year-olds who like leap on the bus and have just had a little run, and then they give me the glares, and I'm like, you weren't even going to sit here. Why are you mad at me?
The energetic, slightly red, sweaty, middle-aged crisis type people.
Special problem is about communication. Earlier today, I was at an event where there were a group of people who I've never met before, and they kind of all know each other. I quite like to do a whole group. Guys, hi, nice to meet you. I am deaf. Because as you can tell, if you can hear, I don't sound deaf. Again, not a bonus. You'd think it would be. It's not. Because people can't tell that I have any communication issues by listening to my voice.
So
and
they assume that you can hear and look absolutely fine. People don't really keep an eye out for disabilities like that. If they look at you, they assume, oh yes, you're not disabled because the majority of people aren't disabled. I think that that's something that it would be productive to try and change in society.
Definitely.
Like with people starting to ask, oh, I've met you as a new person, what are your gender pronouns? Perhaps being aware that even though somebody might not look disabled, they may have a quite difficult disability, whether that's you know, very hard for them to deal with or doesn't affect them as much. Just because they look average or neurotypical or physically okay doesn't mean that that's the truth.
For me, I connect it back to kindness. Because I think we need to all be kinder. We need to all be giving everyone the benefit of the doubt, which is something that I find I do all the time. People can be really rude. I'm just like, oh well, maybe they've had a hard day. They've got something going on at home. Maybe they find social situations awkward and they didn't mean to be so rude about my clothing.
I love your clothes. You look very well put together and graceful.
Thank you very much.
Anyone who's mean about your clothes.
Very strange to a large number of people, and I understand that.
Another thing about things like that is intrusive thoughts. So, for example, if you are very politically correct or you want to be a very inclusive, happy, kind person to other people, just because you have a sudden intrusive thought like, oh, I don't like, oh, what's she wearing? That's unusual to see. That doesn't make you a bad person. Intrusive thoughts are natural. Everybody has them. What decides who you are and who you want to be as an individual is how you decide to respond to those intrusive thoughts. If you can then reflect on that and say, oh, no, actually, that wasn't very nice of me to think. I want to change the way I immediately process what I'm seeing. She looks amazing, and honestly, good on her for doing that.
I love because it's all connected to my clothes. That's kindness too, because it's being kind to yourself as well. Not beating yourself up for having had a thought about something, or not beating yourself up for past behaviour.
Exactly.
Like maybe you were a bit rude when you were a teenager.
But it's all about not where you're coming from, but what you're making from that situation. So even if you were crueler in the past, or you've decided that, oh, you know, maybe in the past I was a bit racist or whatever. It's what you take from those thoughts and feelings you may have had in the past and what you put them to use. So if you are trying to be better to people who are disabled, it can start with tiny things like just being aware that disabled people are out there and may not be obvious to you. Just being considerate about people's needs and asking.
You've seen them come out of a disabled toilet and you're like, they don't have a cane with them. There are a million reasons relating to ill health that someone may need to use a disabled toilet, just so you're aware.
Also forgetfulness, because I forgot my cane today, but that doesn't mean I don't need one.
Also that.
Yes, that too.
Yeah, most disabilities are not visible.
I don't think most of them are, no. I think you're right. Just be aware.
And it's also about educating yourself on different points of view and different perspectives. And this is where I think that YouTube is such an amazing platform. I don't think people give YouTube credit enough.
No.
I'm always out there going, YouTube's really great, guys. It's really great. We so often focus on the negatives and like, oh, you know, some people leave mean comments, blah, blah, blah. But what we should really be focusing on is how amazing it is that we get direct access to somebody else's life and someone else's experiences. And we are learning so much about things that we don't experience on a day-to-day basis.
It's so incredible to be able to hear that from a person and, you know, that it hasn't been interfered with by like another company or something like that. You're hearing someone's experience directly, honestly, and in most cases in quite a vulnerable way, directly from them. And that's a kind of information that you're not going to get easily anywhere else.
You would learn more about a particular type of disability from a person who has it and is sharing their life with you than you would from sitting in a classroom and learning about it.
Definitely.
Learning. Oh my god.
Who does
Obviously
that?
you can learn in a classroom, I'm sorry. Still go to school, kids.
School is important. Please
Very
go.
awkward. I didn't mean to say that. Jeez. You get what I mean, though.
I get what you mean.
So I think it's really important that we kind of curate the people that we follow, especially on social media, to make sure that there are people with a wide range of experiences and a wide range of views as well.
Yes, I think that's very important. I see on my channel people saying like, I don't have the ID, I know I don't belong here, but I find this so interesting. You belong here. The reason we do this is to educate people. The reason that both of us do this is to try and make the world a more inclusive, happy, safe place for as many people as we can. And just because somebody's educating you or other people about a particular topic that may not be relevant to you personally, that doesn't mean that you're not allowed to learn about it, or that you don't belong there, or that you're trespassing on a space that isn't meant for you. If we're opening ourselves up to you, there's a reason why we're trying to spread this message. And if you want to learn more about it, then I think that it's wonderful that people want to come and learn more from us.
Exactly. I'd say that the majority of my followers are hearing, but they're like, I had never considered that that would be a problem to somebody who couldn't hear before. There's nothing wrong with not having thought about it. And again, that's coming back to the kindness. Like, it's nothing wrong with you for not having considered every single different person's point of view. It's just being open to it.
Yes, you're human. You're not going to be able to just suddenly understand everything that could have affected anyone ever with all the mental illnesses, all the physical illnesses. But it's important to try, not for everything, but like you were saying, just keeping an open mind, asking people. Don't be afraid to ask people. If somebody came up and said, I can see you're struggling, or like you're not focusing very well, are you okay? Can I help you? Are you comfortable explaining what's going on? I'd just say, I have a dissociative disorder, I'm dissociating. It would be really helpful if they had a cold drink or something, let me have some of that cold drink or whatever. I wouldn't be offended by somebody coming up and saying, do you need any help? Some people would be uncomfortable because you want to feel like you can do it yourself. If you see somebody who seems to be in need of help, even if they're not obviously disabled, approach it like gently. But just because you're not disabled doesn't mean that you're not able to help.
Kind of touch on independence there, and the idea of wanting to do things for yourself.
Yes.
And I might not look it, but I'm a person who doesn't have a lot of independence, a danger to society, and myself.
I've
mainly
heard
myself,
that one before.
But I kind of just have to be okay with that. And I've given up on not
being okay with it. Yeah.
It's like, well, that's my life.
It takes time, though. It's taken a long time for me personally to accept that I'm not going to have the life that, you know, I thought I was going to have or that I wanted to have. And that doesn't make me a failure or less of a person or less important or less valuable than other people who can live a more average life as society would see it, with like a 9-to-5 office job and going for 5K runs or whatever people do. It is something that's incredibly important for your own mental and physical well-being, to accept yourself as you are. And that sounds super cheesy, and it's a lot more difficult than just saying it.
No, for sure. I always think of people as we each have our own individual stories, and we don't know how they're going to end, and we don't know what the most important thread is going to be moving through it, because we can't look ahead. But the way that you are is just the way that you are, and that's your own personal narrative.
It's your own journey. It's just the way your story was written, but you get to decide where you want to take those words. You don't get to decide where you end up, but you can choose what you want to do with what you've been given. Yes, we have trouble walking around, and we get very, very tired, and we both have disorders that make life difficult for us, but we're still here spreading messages to the world, trying to make a difference. You know,
you're never alone.
Yes, you're never alone. There's always someone who has a similar experience, even if it's not the same out there. You're never going to be the only one, and there's always somebody who's going to be willing to listen to you.
I feel like this entire video is Instagram inspirational quotes, but I love it.
I'm here for that.
I'm happy with that, yeah.
Starting to dissociate quite heavily, so I'm like,
we can be done.
Yeah, I'm going. I'm sorry.
Would you be happy to do an end?
Yes. Is there anything else that you particularly wanted to talk about, or?
I don't think so. Is there anything that you think we didn't hit that we should have hit?
I can't think. I do. When I say, oh my brain.
Sorry,
I'm sorry. Oh, thank you. Do the grounding. You're so helpful. Thank you. Can I put this in the video?
Yeah.
Jessica's helping me ground because I'm dissociating. So it's little things like this, being open to what other people need that might seem odd compared to you, and just being kind, because you're a very kind and lovely person. I'm really glad I got to meet you.
Right, you smell delightful.
Oh, thank you.
Your hair just smells gorgeous.
Oh, thank you very much.
Just had to tell you.
So my no, this one's pretty cold, but thank you anyway. If I can stay for 5 minutes, then whoever needs to switch can switch. But I need 5 minutes, please. The outro is.
Sorry.
Oh, it's so frustrating. It's like someone's just reached into your head and just wrapped everything in cotton wool and pulled it out of your head. What is my outro? I've been doing this for over a year. I know my outro. Okay, we're going to stop now because I'm dissociating quite heavily, and I'm sure you're quite tired as well. Video that we did about CFS/ME, more about ME, but you'll find out about it if you watch it, what I'm talking about. So yes, thank you so much for coming on the channel with me.
Thank you for having me.
You're very welcome. I hope that everybody stays safe and that you all have a good day. It was lovely to see you, and we'll see you all in the next video. Bye. Yay, done. Thank you so much. Thank you.
That's all right.
Thank you.
It's all right. You're good.
I'm a floaty cloud
You're
right
out.
now.